about 12 years old, I read a book called City of Bells by Elizabeth Goudge, which is a very sentimental and sweet book, but for me it actually changed the course of the whole of the rest of my life. I just had one of those light bulb moments when I thought, that's what I want to be. I want to be a bookseller. And it's actually pretty well all I ever have been and all I want to be. I was walking from the back of the shop towards the front here, and I suddenly stopped and thought, I'm in my dream. This is the shop I dreamed about. And I still find that so moving that I really do truly believe that this life that I'm living is a dream come true. It really is. We moved into this premises 21 years ago, and I've been here certainly every week and most days since then, and still get such a pleasure from being here, a real thrill and joy just to be in this building, which is so beautiful with its ancient timbers and the beautiful books. And for me as well, part of that magic is actually sharing it. I really love to share it with people. If people go on to buy things or to take part in a group or to somehow be involved in the more commercial side of the bookshop, that's lovely. But what I really love is just people to be here. Another great thing about having your own independent bookshop is that although I have wonderful, wonderful staff who've been with me for years, I also have fantastic volunteers, because people feel that they want to put something back into the bookshop because of what the bookshop gives to them or gives to the town. And I've also been so lucky this summer to have Emily Wilkinson as artist in residence. She's done some really beautiful work for me, so the shop is becoming even more beautiful as we speak. But she's also helped with groups. We've started something called Monday Makers, which has been for children of any age really. We've taken a poem as our starting point, for example The Owl and the Pussycat, or something about bees or birds, and then the children have made beautiful artwork based on that. One of the things that I'm really, really proud of is that Wenlock Books is the founder of the Wenlock Poetry Festival, which is now 5 years old. It all started when I took a group of readers on a readers' retreat in West Wales, and we invited the poet Gillian Clark. I was enthusing about the bookshop, and she said, you know, my friend Caroline Duffy ought to come and do an event for you in Much Wenlock. And I said, gosh, that would be amazing. I'll tell her to do it, she said. So Caroline came to Wenlock and she did an event at the Edge Art Centre. And as she was leaving, she said, you know, Much Wenlock is the perfect place for poetry. You really should have a poetry festival here. And I, quick as a flash, said, well, I'll do a poetry festival if you'll be our founding patron. And she said, of course I will. So that's how we got the Poet Laureate to be our founding patron. I like to think that Wenlock Books is special. Of course I think it's special, but I like to think that it's special because we're actually quite an important part of the community. Lots of things happen here. We facilitate events as well as putting on our own events. We do story times for little children, we do poetry clubs for children who are aged 7 and upwards. We have reading groups for adults, we do poetry events all the time. So we're not just a bookshop, and in fact I always try to make the events accessible to people who may not actually read that much, because I think that you can still enjoy some of that magic even if you're not a huge reader yourself. But the real feet on the ground community that you have here in Wenlock is something that is just so good for your heart and soul, and it's a pleasure to be here.